Where to mine Lapis Lazuli in Minecraft 1.18. This video is going to explain where to find Lapis Lazuli ore, the different Lapis Lazuli batches, and the strategies for mining Lapis. The big difference in the 1.18 update is to world generation. What this means is that the caves have changed, the floor of the world is at -64 instead of at 0, Lapis has two batches. A batch means the range, the amount of ores in a blob, if they can be exposed to air, and the height they are most likely to generate. It is possible for one batch to generate in one way and another to be different, as is the case with Lapis. Let's first talk about the Lapis Lazuli ore block. To mine the Lapis Lazuli ore, it has to be mined with at least a stone pickaxe or better, otherwise it will be destroyed. When the Lapis Lazuli ore is mined, it will drop 4 to 6 Lapis Lazuli. The Fortune enchantment can increase the potential drops of Lapis Lazuli. The maximum level of Fortune is 3. At Fortune 3, the maximum amount of Lapis can be up to 36 pieces. The Fortune enchantment is incompatible with the Silk Touch enchantment that will drop the block instead of breaking it. Let's start with the first batch of Lapis Lazuli. This batch attempts to generate 2 times per chunk, a chunk being a 16 by 16 area that goes from the floor to the sky, and these chunks are how the world is divided. The blobs will be 0 to 10 Lapis Lazuli ore blocks. A blob just means a grouping of the same ore or block. This batch can be found between -32 to 30, with the best level being -1 and decreasing at the ends of this range. This batch is not affected by being exposed to air. Because the best level to find this batch is at -1, using this change from stone to deep slate would be a good guide to find it, as it occurs at level 0. As this batch is not affected by exposure to air, going through caves would be a good way to find Lapis Lazuli, as the caves cut through a lot of terrain. The cheese caves in Minecraft 1.18 are especially large, so you can spot blobs of lapis in the walls, ceilings, or floors. The second batch for Lapis Lazuli. The second batch attempts to generate 4 times per chunk in blobs of 0 to 10 ores between -64 to 64. The distribution of this blob is even, so blobs of lapis can be found at any level equally in this batch. This batch cannot be exposed to air, so if any block is exposed to air, the entire blob will not generate. This is a very large area for this batch, as it covers all the area underground, which is 128 blocks. This is a difficult batch to mine for, as there isn't a best level to mine for it, and it can't be exposed to air. Strategies for mining Lapis Lazuli. I think the best strategy would be to try and stick around level 0 and explore caves to try and find Lapis. If you want to branch mine, at level -1 would be the best level to mine. The second batch is tricky as it can't be exposed to air and covers a large range. The best idea would be to look at the area that the two batches overlap, which is -32 to 32, and specifically around the best level for the first batch, which is -1. I would suggest getting a fortune pickaxe, as it could yield several stacks of lapis from one lapis blob.